Hello everyone, this is my presentation on the Instagram account that I created for Asian parents. But then I realized, Asian parents are probably not on Instagram. So I decided to change it to target young Asian American instead, who are struggling because their parents doesn't understand what mental health is. And the posts I found are either educational or to provide resources for their parents. And these are posts that kids can show their parents to better understand what mental health is. And throughout this, whole process, I'm going to guide you as here I am right now. You want me to click on that? Oh, okay. I guess I will read it. This post basically summarized what other race-based issue that might impact the mental health of AAPI. Whoa, you scroll kind of fast. All right, the perpetual foreigner stereotype. This occurred when somebody is assumed to be foreign-born and does not speak English. There's some questions that perpetuate this stereotype include where you from, where you really from, how do you say blah, blah, blah in your language. This also increased feelings of isolations and loneliness by being presumed as an outsider based on your race. All right, next. Trauma. First-generation immigrant, particularly from conflict areas, may experience trauma. This trauma can be passed on to their kids and future generations. AAPI with a long family history in the U.S. may have compounded trauma due to racial discriminations. All right, next. Thank you. Stigma. Asian Americans are the least likely racial group to take actions on their mental health and are more likely to reach out to friends and family. However, not all AAPI have a strong support system and can have difficulty expressing their challenges due to guilt, shame, and even not being able to speak some languages. And expectation. Criticizing appearances, comparing success, not being blank enough. Children of first-generation immigrants are particularly expected to serve as cultural and linguistic liaisons for older family members, in addition to serving as a caretaker for younger children and also attending school. Okay there. Religious intolerance. Religious minorities are often discriminated against for their appearance and beliefs, bearing the burden of racial profiling due to Islamophobic. There's also assumptions of criminal status, where someone is presumed to be dangerous, criminal, and deviant based on their race. All right, that's enough for the first post. And the second post. It's just a little graph to show how breaking generational trauma. Basically, you can show it to your parents. It's pretty fun, I guess. Okay, no need to give me attitude. This is the third post. Don't be a child's first bully. Basically, I just thought it's pretty fun. I'm not going to read every single post just for the time's sake, but for example, this one is basically telling you what it feels like to be a lost child, and explains very quiet. This is what you're being told, and in reality, the lost childs are very vulnerable. It's not like what they appear to be. Basically, the next post is generous wealth can also look like parents who can regulate their emotions. And I found this from another Instagram post. So if you want to read it, you can always go to the Instagram and read the post. Great. Next, here the next two posts are basically some resources that I found for Asian therapists in the US or in the UK sometimes. And they all will accommodate to whatever language your parents may speak. Right, the next post is basically how to explain mental health to Asian parents that might require a culturally sensitive approach. Here's are some tips. All right. The first one is understanding the cultural perspective, right? Recognizing that mental health may be viewed differently in Asian cultures, where there may be stigma or tendency to downplay psychological issues. Be aware of these cultural nuances when you want to address this concern. And next, we have use relatable analogies. Basically, draw a parallel between mental health and physical health. My God. To help them understand, explaining that just as the body can get sick, it's also important to take care of your mind as well. Okay, we're just going to move on to the next. Share personal stories. Share personal stories that they might know or admire and how they have struggled with mental health issues, but also sought out help and recovered. This can help them, dispose myth or reduce stigma. Move on to the next. Emphasize the mind-body connection. Highlight the connection between mental and physical. It's basically the same as the previous slide, but physical health, explaining that mental health impact overall well-being and affect physical health as well. And to educate about common mental health conditions. Provide information about common mental health conditions such as anxiety, depression, stress-related disorders. Explain the signs and symptoms and how these conditions can be managed or treated with professional help. All right, next one, highlighting the importance of self-care. Emphasize the significance of self-care activities that promote mental health well-being, such as engaging in hobbies, maintaining social connections, practicing mindfulness, and getting enough rest and exercise. All right, and the next part is also very important to address the concern about stigma, because this is for your parents and they might be thinking, if I tell my friends that I have mental health issues, they're just going to laugh at me and put me in, mental hospital or something like that. So it's very important to discuss the stigma surrounding the mental health in a compassionate way, non-judgmental manner. Also reassure them that seeking support for mental health is a sign of strength, not weakness, and that professional help can make a positive difference. All right, and to provide resources and support, share relevant resources such as articles, videos, or books, depends on what your parents like, that can also further educate them about mental health. Offer to accompany them to appointments with mental health professionals or help them find them, since it might be difficult for them because the language barrier or difficulty navigating, the site, the website, whatever. All right, that's that for that post. The next post I'm going to skip because I want to watch it at the end. So here's a post about inner child. And this is more for the kids themselves rather than the parents. But it can also be the parents, The parents also have inner child. Who knows? Basically, just saying, I'm sorry that I have to grow up with such and such. You have to witness these. I know why you like this. Yeah. It might be relevant to your parents. Who knows? But welcome to check it out. All right, next. It's a post that says, it is helpful to keep in mind at all times that ego/mind does not experience the world, but only its own perception of it. So I found this from a kind of like a Buddhist account, and I really like what it's saying, so I took it. Sharing is caring, right? All right, and the next post is basically teach you how to meditate. Take a moment to be still, close your eyes, pay attention to your breathing, 3, 6, 9 seconds, and yeah, that's basically what that was. Also took it from the same place, borrowed from the same place, not steal, of course, that'll be wrong. Okay, the next post is basically a quote. Breathing in, I calm my body and mind. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is the only moment. So it is basically explaining that present moment is the most important moment, and staying in the present allows you to be more free and more calm instead of worrying about the future or the past. All right, at this point, I realize I'm already at 10 minutes. So the next two posts are basically explaining generational trauma, what that looks like, and what does healing generational trauma might look like as well. All right, and before we jump into that video, I promise y'all we're going to watch. I just want to say I know I breezed through a lot of it, but I'm already at 10 minutes mark. So yeah, I'm not going to bore y'all with more wasted time, and let's jump into the video. Oh, before we jump into the video, I just want to say I don't know how loud the volume is, so you might want to turn it down and turn it up in a little bit. And to explain a little bit more about this video, is basically a card game that'll help you to connect with your parents and ask questions that you are afraid to ask in day-to-day life. And it also has a good feature where they provide another language that your parents speak, so you can show them without language barrier. All right, here we go.
That helps people get to know their loved ones better, and I wish this existed earlier. I've been wanting to improve my relationship with my parents, so when I saw this, I bought it immediately. Their cards are bilingual with English on the front and another language on the back for children of immigrants like me. Blue cards are questions, red cards are actions, and there are 2 levels depending on how deep you want to get. I somehow learned more about my parents in 20 minutes than I have in 20 years. Call your parents and play this game. You won't regret it.
All right, that's it for my presentation. Thank you all for watching. I don't know if y'all actually watched the whole thing, but this is it. Hopefully y'all had a laugh about me editing myself in, giving myself attitude, kind of like, all right.